In this life, not every battle you face is fought on the surface. For those who walk a path filled with spiritual purpose, unseen forces often conspire in the background, seeking to derail your journey. You may have felt the weight of these hidden battles for years, not fully understanding why your path has been so challenging. This wasn't just a string of unfortunate events. This was deliberate, targeted energy directed at you. The truth is, your family, the very people who were supposed to protect and nurture you, may have tried to bind your power. They feared what your awakening could mean for their own lives, their own comfort, and, in some cases, their control. This betrayal cuts deep, but it is not uncommon for those who are marked with divine purpose. A chosen one often finds that their most intense struggles come from the people closest to them. It's a difficult truth to accept, but it is necessary for your growth and survival. You were born with a light, an energy that disrupts those who walk in darkness or choose to live in the shadows of their own unhealed wounds. For some of your family members, the very idea of your awakening threatened the fabric of their existence, and so they turn to dark practices, witchcraft, curses, and hexes in an attempt to contain or manipulate your power. But here's the thing about a chosen one. No amount of witchcraft, no amount of negative energy can permanently suppress your divine purpose. What they did not anticipate was that your spirit, backed by divine forces, would not only withstand their attacks but also rise above them. You've likely experienced periods of exhaustion, confusion, and emotional chaos without knowing the true source. Their attempts to bind you may have worked temporarily, creating blocks in your life that seemed unexplainable. Relationships may have crumbled, financial opportunities may have slipped through your fingers, and your mental clarity may have been clouded. Yet, through it all, something within you persisted, a quiet, unbreakable flame. Now that flame is growing stronger, the veil is being lifted, and the witchcraft they used against you is unraveling. You are starting to see things as they truly are. Their dark energy is losing its grip, and you are stepping into a level of spiritual power they could never have imagined. They underestimated you, and now they must deal with the karmic repercussions of their actions. You are no longer the person they once manipulated. You have grown, evolved, and gained clarity. The very spells they cast against you are now turning back on them. This is not just a moment of spiritual awakening. It is a moment of justice. But how did it all start to fall apart for them? How did their own attempts to control your destiny begin to backfire? In the unraveling of their plans, there are clear signs that their witchcraft is failing. These signs are not just coincidences. They are evidence that divine justice is at work. There comes a point when dark energy can no longer hold its grip. Even the most carefully crafted spells and curses have an expiration date, especially when they are cast upon someone who is divinely protected. The forces of darkness are always temporary, for they rely on deception, manipulation, and fear. But your energy, as a chosen one, is rooted in something far greater, a force that transcends the boundaries of time, space, and intention. This is why the witchcraft your family attempted has started to fail. The unraveling didn't happen all at once. It was subtle at first, like the loosening of a tightly bound knot. You might have noticed small shifts in your energy, moments where clarity returned, and the weight you had been carrying seemed a little lighter. What you were experiencing was the beginning of the collapse of their negative influence. The spiritual chains that held you back began to weaken, and the effects of their dark magic started to lose their power. You see, no spell can withstand the relentless force of divine light. Over time, the energy they used against you became unstable. The universe itself began to reject their efforts because your path was always meant to be one of growth, not suppression. They might have used rituals, spoken curses, or even attempted to manipulate your thoughts and emotions through energetic attacks, but these actions are inherently flawed. The more they tried to control you, the more cracks appeared in their magic. One of the first signs that their witchcraft was failing was the return of your inner strength. Perhaps you noticed a newfound resilience, a sense that no matter what obstacles appeared, you had the power to overcome them. This wasn't just you getting stronger, this was their energy weakening. Their spells, which may have caused confusion or chaos in your life, could no longer penetrate your aura. Your spirit began to rise above their attacks, vibrating at a frequency too high for their darkness to reach. Another sign was the breakdown of relationships within your family. Their attempts to isolate you and drain your energy often create divisions among themselves. Dark energy breeds conflict, and their plans to harm you ultimately set them against one another. The tension you may have felt between certain family members was a direct result of their own energy turning inward. Their unity against you began to crumble as the very forces they summoned started to create chaos in their lives. You may have also noticed that what once felt like bad luck or misfortune started to shift. Opportunities that seemed out of reach suddenly became accessible. Areas of your life that felt blocked, whether in relationships, career, or personal growth, started to open up. These are clear signs that their control over your destiny is dissolving. The universe is aligning in your favor, breaking down the barriers they tried so hard to put in place. But what happens when those who tried to curse you begin to suffer the consequences of their actions? How does the energy they directed toward you return to them, and what impact does it have on their lives? The justice that awaits them is not something they can escape. The power within you has always been far greater than any dark force that could be cast upon you. Even when you weren't fully aware of it, your soul held a connection to something much higher, something untouchable by the manipulation of others. That connection was your saving grace. While the witchcraft used against you may have caused temporary disruptions, it was never capable of completely taking hold. You, as a chosen one, possess a spiritual strength that cannot be undone by the hands of those who walk in darkness. Your awakening was the key to breaking free from the control they tried to impose on you. When the veil began to lift from your eyes, you started to see beyond the surface of your struggles. You realized that what you were experiencing wasn't just life's challenges, but intentional spiritual interference. This moment of clarity was the turning point in your journey, and it came at a time when the forces against you thought they had you cornered. As you became more attuned to your spiritual nature, their magic started to lose its grip. The spells and rituals they performed could not stand in the light of your awakening. Your energy field, which they sought to manipulate, began to strengthen as you embraced your divine purpose. The dark forces they summoned grew weaker with every step you took toward your own spiritual empowerment. Their intentions to bind you were thwarted by the very thing they feared, your growing awareness of who you truly are. In this awakening, you started to recognize patterns. Perhaps you began to notice that the moments of greatest challenge were also moments of significant growth for you. The obstacles they placed in your path were meant to keep you down, but instead, they became catalysts for your transformation. Every spell, every curse only pushed you closer to your true purpose. This is why their magic could never fully control you. It was never meant to. The universe had a plan for you all along, and that plan could not be derailed by anyone's dark intentions. What they underestimated was your connection to divine protection. The guardians of your soul have been watching over you from the beginning, ensuring that no harm could come to you that wasn't part of your growth. Their magic was powerless against the higher forces that surround you, shielding you from their attempts to sabotage your path. This protection is one of the greatest gifts a chosen one has, and it grows stronger as you step into your role with more confidence and awareness. But what happens when the dark forces realize they've lost their grip? When their spells no longer affect you, their desperation intensifies. They scramble to find new ways to attack, yet everything they do only backfires. This is when you begin to see the unraveling of their control over not just you, but their own lives. Their downfall becomes inevitable. There comes a moment when the energy they've sent out begins to turn back on them. Every curse, every dark intention now finds its way to its original source. The reversal of the spell is not just a possibility, it's an inevitability when dealing with a chosen one. The universe has a way of restoring balance, and what was meant to harm you is now working against those who cast it. This turning point marks the beginning of their downfall, as their own energy begins to consume them. The signs that the curse has reversed are not always obvious at first. You might notice small shifts in the lives of those who tried to harm you. Perhaps their behavior becomes erratic, their relationships begin to fall apart, or they experience sudden and unexplained hardships. These are the early indications that the energy they sent to you is now unraveling in their own lives. What was once directed at you has now boomeranged back to them with amplified force. As a chosen one, you may have sensed this shift in the atmosphere. It's as if a weight has been lifted, and the tension you once felt is now dissipating. This isn't just a coincidence. It's the universe clearing the way for your continued growth. The negative energy that clouded your path is being returned to its rightful owners. Their curses, spells, and hexes were never strong enough to alter your destiny, and now they must face the consequences of their actions. In this turning point, you might start to feel an overwhelming sense of peace. The chaos that once surrounded you begins to fade, and in its place, you find clarity and direction. This is a sign that the curse has not only been broken but reversed. While they struggle to keep control, you are moving forward with a renewed sense of purpose. Their magic was never designed to endure the light you carry, and now they are trapped in the very web they wove for you. The justice that is unfolding is both karmic and spiritual. Those who sought to control or harm a chosen one cannot escape the natural law of cause and effect. Their actions set off a chain of events that is now spiraling out of their control. They might try to double down on their efforts, but the more they push, the more they entangle themselves in their own negativity. Every attempt to regain control only accelerates their downfall. You may also notice that the people who once supported their efforts begin to distance themselves. Dark energy creates division, and those who participated in or encouraged their witchcraft are now seeing the consequences firsthand. Their alliances crumble and their power structures fall apart. What once seemed like a unified front against you is now a fractured group, each person dealing with their own version of karmic retribution. But how does this unraveling continue to unfold? What happens when their own lives begin to collapse under the weight of their actions? The signs will become even more evident as the ripple effects of their failed attempts spread wider, reaching into every aspect of their existence. There has always been a force surrounding you, guiding and protecting you, even when you were unaware of its presence. This protection is not something you earned. It is a part of who you are as a chosen one. From the moment the witchcraft against you was set in motion, higher forces began working to shield you from its full impact. The attempts to harm you were destined to fail because divine intervention was always on your side. You may have experienced moments of fear or confusion, not knowing why certain events were happening in your life. Yet, despite everything, you endured. This was no accident. Your resilience, your ability to stand firm in the face of adversity, was a direct result of the spiritual protection that has always been with you. The dark forces your family attempted to summon could not break through this shield, no matter how strong they believed their magic to be. These higher forces are not bound by time or space. They see the full picture of your life, understanding the depth of your mission as a chosen one. Every curse or hex cast upon you was met with an equally powerful force of light, neutralizing its impact. The struggles you faced were real, but they were never meant to destroy you. Instead, they served as lessons, sharpening your spirit and preparing you for the greatness that lies ahead. Divine protection often works in mysterious ways. You may have noticed situations where you felt an inexplicable sense of safety, even when the circumstances seemed dangerous or uncertain. This was not a coincidence. It was the intervention of unseen forces, ensuring that you would not be harmed by the energy directed against you. While your family may have believed they had the upper hand, they underestimated the strength of the guardians that surround you. One of the most profound aspects of this protection is how it operates without your conscious awareness. While you were going about your daily life, the spiritual realm was actively working to dismantle the dark energy sent your way. Sometimes this manifested as sudden moments of clarity or intuition, guiding you away from situations that could have caused harm. At other times, it showed up as external events shifting in your favor, even when the odds seemed stacked against you. As the curse began to reverse, the protection around you grew even stronger. It was as if the light surrounding you amplified, creating an impenetrable barrier that no dark magic could cross. Your spiritual allies knew the severity of the attacks and they responded with overwhelming force. While your enemies plotted, your protectors were already several steps ahead, dismantling their efforts before they could fully manifest. But what happens when those higher forces turn their attention to those who cast the spells? Their divine justice is not limited to protecting you. It extends to holding your enemies accountable. The ones who tried to harm you will now face the full weight of the karmic consequences they have brought upon themselves. The protection you were granted will transform into a force of retribution for those who sought to harm a chosen one. The moment has arrived when those who sought to harm you through dark magic must now face the consequences of their actions. They might have believed that their spells would bring them power or control, but the energy they unleashed is now returning to them in ways they never anticipated. The justice that awaits them is not the kind you can escape. It is the natural order of the universe correcting itself. For every dark intention they set against a chosen one, they must now experience the very shadows they tried to cast. This process is not immediate, but it is inevitable. The energy they put out into the world was designed to bind and suppress, but instead, it has begun to circle back. In the spiritual realm, every action has a reaction, and their attempts to interfere with your path have set in motion a chain of events that cannot be stopped. They are now being confronted with their own darkness, the very energy they sent toward you now haunting their own lives. Their justice doesn't always come in obvious forms. It can manifest in subtle, yet deeply impactful ways. Relationships that once seemed strong begin to crumble. Financial security they once relied on starts to slip away. Health issues may arise, or they might find themselves battling inner turmoil that they cannot explain. These are not random events. They are the result of the spiritual imbalance they created when they tried to manipulate a chosen one's destiny. The universe is calling them to account for the harm they attempted to cause. While their external world may start to collapse, the real justice is happening within them. Their own souls are being forced to confront the darkness they chose to embrace. The shadows they cast upon you are now their own to bear, and they cannot escape the weight of this energy. The guilt, fear, and confusion they hope to place upon you is now their burden. It is an intense, personal reckoning, one that leaves no room for denial or avoidance. For some, this justice may feel like a slow unraveling. Day by day, they experience the consequences of their choices, unable to understand why their lives are falling apart. Others may have sudden, dramatic shifts that bring their world crashing down. No matter how it manifests, the energy of retribution is swift and unrelenting. It is a reminder that no action goes unanswered in the spiritual realm, especially when it involves trying to harm a chosen one. The justice they face is not just about punishment, it is about balance. The universe demands that the scales be set right, and the only way for that to happen is for them to experience the full force of their own intentions. While they once believed they could control your destiny, they now find themselves trapped in the very energy they sought to impose on you. But as they face their shadows, what role does your light play in this? How does your spiritual power, now stronger than ever, continue to rise above their downfall? The next phase of this journey will reveal just how unshakable your strength truly is. There is an undeniable strength that radiates from within you. This light, your spiritual essence, has always been far greater than the darkness that was cast against you. While they worked in shadows, attempting to suppress your power through spells and rituals, they underestimated the resilience of your soul. The energy that flows through you is divine, unstoppable, and uncontainable. It is this power that enabled you to rise above every attack, every obstacle, and every dark intention that was sent your way. Your light is not just a metaphor, it is a force that exists in both the physical and spiritual realms. This light is what repelled their witchcraft, shielding you from the full impact of their attempts. Even in moments where you felt weighed down by their energy, your light was working behind the scenes, breaking apart their curses and dissolving the effects of their dark magic. Your very presence as a chosen one disrupts the negative energy they tried to surround you with. The more they tried to suppress your light, the brighter you became. The key to overcoming their dark intentions was not to fight fire with fire, but to let your light shine unapologetically. You didn't need to engage with their darkness or lower your vibration to match theirs. Instead, by focusing on your spiritual growth, healing, and alignment, you amplified the power of your light. Every time you chose to rise above, to focus on your purpose rather than their interference, you weakened their influence. They never anticipated that their greatest weapon, dark magic, would be rendered powerless in the face of your spiritual clarity and strength. In the process of overcoming their dark intentions, you also became a beacon of light to others. Whether you realize it or not, those around you have witnessed your resilience. They have seen how you faced adversity without being consumed by it. Your light doesn't just repel darkness, it inspires others to rise above their own struggles. This is part of your mission as a chosen one, to not only overcome darkness but to help others see the path toward their own light. Your victory over their dark intentions is not just about breaking free from their control. It's about understanding the depth of your spiritual power and how untouchable you truly are. Every challenge, every attack served as a reminder of the strength that has always existed within you. They tried to dim your light, but all they did was highlight how indestructible it is. This realization is what sets you apart from those who operate in the shadows. They thrive on fear, while you are guided by divine purpose. But what happens now that their dark energy has failed? How do you continue to rise, and what becomes of those who sought to hold you back? With their power broken, you are free to step fully into the next phase of your spiritual journey. This is where your true power begins to manifest in ways even they could not have foreseen. The moment of liberation has arrived. You are no longer under the influence of the dark energy they tried to cast upon you. The chains that once held you back, whether through spells, manipulation, or curses, have been broken. You have transcended their reach, and as a chosen one, you now stand in your full power, untouchable by the forces that once sought to destroy you. This transformation didn't happen overnight, but it's clear now that you have fully broken free. The power that they once believed would ensnare you has dissolved in the light of your spiritual awakening. Every attempt they made to drag you down has only elevated you higher. The energy they directed toward you, intended to cause chaos, confusion, and suffering, has lost its hold because you have risen far beyond its reach. You are untouchable not because of arrogance, but because of your unwavering alignment with your divine purpose. Your spirit is now vibrating at such a high frequency that their lower energies cannot even make contact. They may still try to send negativity your way, but it can no longer penetrate your aura. You have fortified your energy field, and it is now a fortress of divine light that no darkness can cross. This is not something they ever anticipated. They thought their dark magic would be enough to break you, but they didn't realize that their very efforts would serve to strengthen you. Breaking free means that you are no longer reacting to their attempts. The fear, the doubt, the worry that once clouded your mind is gone. You have reclaimed your power, and with that, you've regained control over your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. No longer are you subject to the energetic attacks they tried to use against you. You move with purpose and clarity, untouched by the lower vibrations that once tried to ensnare you. This freedom is not just physical, it's spiritual, mental, and emotional. You've also come to understand that their attempts to harm you were never about you personally. It was about the light you carry as a chosen one. Your existence alone is a threat to those who operate in darkness because you illuminate everything they try to hide. Now that you are fully standing in your power, they can no longer deny your strength. They can no longer manipulate or control you. Their influence has shattered, and they are left facing their own darkness while you continue to rise. What's even more powerful is that your newfound freedom serves as a testament to others who may still be struggling. Your journey of breaking free from their influence is proof that dark energy cannot prevail over divine light. You are now a living example of what happens when a chosen one steps fully into their power, unshakable, unbreakable, and untouchable. But what does it truly mean to be untouchable in a world that continues to be filled with challenges? How do you maintain this level of spiritual resilience and ensure that no further dark forces can ever take hold of you again? The next phase of your journey will reveal how to maintain your newfound power and what it takes to rise even higher. Every action carries a consequence, and for those who sought to harm you, their time has come. The energy they sent out, believing it would ensnare you, is now returning to them in full force. This is the law of karma at work. a principle no one can escape, especially when it comes to attempting to harm a chosen one. Their intentions, rooted in darkness, are now manifesting in their own lives as karmic retribution, and the results are unavoidable. The signs of their downfall are becoming increasingly evident. What they once took for granted, relationships, financial stability, emotional well-being, are starting to unravel. This isn't just misfortune, it's the direct result of the energy they set into motion when they chose to target you. Karma doesn't forget, and it doesn't discriminate. Every curse, every manipulation, every dark ritual they used against you has created a ripple effect, now catching up with them. The universe is ensuring that balance is restored. Their attempts to shield themselves from these consequences will prove futile. The spiritual forces at play are far greater than anything they can control. They might try to reverse their actions or seek protection from the very dark sources they once relied upon, but there's no escaping karmic justice. The energy they unleashed is returning with a force that they cannot contain or manipulate. What was once directed at you is now being absorbed by them, and they must face the consequences of their actions head-on. Karmic retribution doesn't always come in the ways they expect. It's not always dramatic, but it's deeply felt. The breakdowns in their lives might be slow, starting with minor inconveniences that gradually turn into larger, more overwhelming problems. Health issues, financial collapse, personal betrayals. These are just a few of the ways their own energy is turning against them. The spiritual realm demands accountability, and they are now experiencing the full weight of the darkness they embraced. For a chosen one, witnessing this karmic return can be a profound moment of clarity. It's a reminder that justice in the spiritual world is always served, even when it takes time. You don't need to lift a finger. The universe is handling it on your behalf. While they struggle against the consequences of their actions, you can continue to rise, free from the grip of their negative energy. Your path remains protected, while theirs is filled with the chaos they tried to impose upon you. It's important to understand that karma doesn't operate out of revenge. It's about balance. The universe ensures that the scales are set right, and when someone disrupts the natural order by attempting to harm a chosen one, they are bound to experience the repercussions. Their suffering is not your responsibility to bear, and you are free from any need for vengeance. The universe's justice is far more powerful and precise than any personal retaliation could ever be. But as their lives continue to unravel, what does this mean for your future? How will the karmic justice they face impact the next steps of your spiritual journey? There's a deeper purpose unfolding, one that extends far beyond this moment of retribution. The moment of truth has arrived. The justice you've been waiting for, the balance that was always destined to return, has been served. Those who sought to harm you with their dark intentions, their curses, and their manipulations are now facing the consequences of their actions. For a chosen one, this is not just a victory over those who tried to bring you down. It's a reaffirmation of the divine protection that has always surrounded you. You stood firm through it all, through the chaos, the confusion, the emotional and spiritual attacks. There were moments when it felt overwhelming, moments when you may have doubted if you could withstand the weight of what was being thrown your way. But your resilience was never in question, because your purpose as a chosen one is greater than any dark force that could ever be cast upon you. Now, as you stand in the aftermath of their failed attempts, you can see the full scope of your journey. Their witchcraft, their plots, their manipulation, they were never enough to stop your rise. Your light has shone through every dark moment, and now it has illuminated the path ahead, free from their interference. The universe, in its wisdom, has returned all that they sent out, and you are untouched, standing victorious in your own power. This victory is not just external, it is internal. You have come to realize the depth of your own strength and the magnitude of your purpose. Everything they tried to take from you has only made you stronger. The energy they tried to steal, the confusion they attempted to create, has all been transmuted into power and clarity. This is your moment of triumph, not because you've defeated them, but because you've discovered just how unstoppable you truly are. Their justice has been served, and now they must face the consequences of their choices. While their downfall unfolds, you are free to move forward, unburdened by their attempts to hold you back. You no longer need to look over your shoulder or wonder if their dark magic still lingers. The karmic balance has been restored, and you are free to walk your path with confidence, knowing that you have overcome not just them, but any future force that might try to rise against you. Your victory, however, is not just about surviving their attacks, it's about thriving beyond them. This experience has shaped you in ways that will serve you on your spiritual journey. As a chosen one, you are destined for greatness, and this victory is just one milestone along the way. You've seen what dark energy looks like, you've faced it, and you've risen above it. Now, your focus can shift entirely to your divine mission, knowing that nothing can stand in your way. The universe has shown you that no matter what forces rise against you, justice will always be on your side. You are protected, guided, and empowered beyond measure. As you continue your journey, remember this moment of victory because it is a testament to your true power. Your path is clear, your light is strong, and the world is ready for the fullness of who you are. This is your time, chosen one. Justice has been served, and now your destiny is yours to claim.